Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that is all about action. And I was working with a client that had the ability to make really good decisions, but then they wouldn't really follow through with those decisions. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. They kind of know what they want to do, decide what they want to do, really think a lot about the thing they want to do, but then don't really follow through with that thing. And for this particular client that I was working with, this was happening in their social life. It was happening in their business life. They were making the decision, but they're not following through with that same decision. And this session really utilizes a different framework, and that's a framework of being discerning, which is the thought process of consideration that leads to a decision, and then this element of being decisive. And what I consider decisive is the action that follows a decision. So to make a decision but then not act, you can call that dithering. But to make a decision and then act relentlessly until that decision has been implemented, we can call that decisive. And that's really what this particular client wanted. They wanted to have this element of emotional detachment so that they could make the decision and then follow through with the decision, even if that meant upsetting the occasional person because they couldn't actually say yes to everything. And I asked this particular client to give me certain characters, either real or fictional, that they felt had the qualities of decisiveness, this cool, calm ability to just implement. And there was a few names that come up. And the first one is a samurai warrior. So they had this idea of thinking of a samurai and just having that element of a stoic, really cool mannerism of just doing what needs to be done. They also liked the character of Winston Wolf from Pulp Fiction. He's the Harvey Keitel character, I believe, that would clear up the mess of other people and just do what needed to be done. And then the final reference was Neo from The Matrix, and not the initial Neo, which doesn't really know what's real and what they want, but the Neo that has acquired that ability to trust their intuition and go with the flow and be fully present and just implement and not overwhelm themselves with what may be, but just do what they need to do. So this uses metaphor, uses direct suggestions. It also uses future pacing to enable this particular client to harness that ability to be decisive. I create most of my sessions from real client sessions. Lots of my recordings are based on real client sessions, so they're real. They're not recorded hypnosis for someone out there in general. They're for a specific client. Confidentially, I share the recording because it's only my voice that's being shared. But what that does is it enables me to get my hypnosis in front of people that might not be able to work with me directly or afford to work with me. But because of that, some of these suggestions won't be 100% relevant for you because they were created for the individual that I was working with. So bear that in mind when you listen to this hypnosis session. And at the same time, if you like the idea of working with me directly to have a bespoke session or a series of sessions built around your needs and your requirements, maybe there's a particular change that you want to make, there will be a link in the description that will enable you to book a free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, you might get a lot of value from this session anyway, so find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense of any tension, any stress, any worries starting to leave your body in that outward breath. Breathing in relaxation and allowing yourself to let go of any feelings of worry, stress, and tension. That's it. Breath by breath, enable yourself to drift down deeper and deeper relaxed. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And I wonder if you can imagine watching a movie. Imagine your own private cinema. And imagine in that cinema is the most comfortable chair, and you have this whole cinema just to yourself. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed as you just see a black screen. And very soon a movie is starting. And I want you to imagine a movie that's set in ancient Japan. And I want you to see on that screen a lone samurai warrior. Perhaps the most accomplished, skilled, and ruthless of all the samurai warriors. I want you to imagine seeing someone with a cool, calm, stoic temperament. They do whatever needs to be done, but they have a framework in order to make their decisions. And some people would call them a code. I want you to see that samurai following their code. Certain beliefs linked to honor and pride and meaning. And then I want you to imagine seeing another character there on that screen, also in ancient Japan. I want you to see the character of Neo from the Matrix, wearing those dark clothes, sunglasses. But I want you to see this character at a point where they have enlightenment. They are able to respond in the moment, to almost slow down time, to see things as they actually are. They're in the same scene, a samurai warrior and Neo, and now one more character. See the character of Winston Wolf from Pulp Fiction they're also in Japan. And you're just sat there in the cinema seeing these three unlikely characters sharing a scene in a movie, and allow the pattern recognition part of your mind to look for qualities that exist in all three. Just allow yourself to observe these characters. Perhaps you consider them all to be pragmatic, decisive, with clarity. They know what their function is. They know what they want. They know how to make things the way they want things to be. In all three cases, that you have the ability to influence the future based on what they do in the present. And as you stare there looking at the screen, feel like you're sinking into that chair in the cinema, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. Feel any tension in your neck and shoulders just melting away. Feel like you're drifting deeper and deeper, almost like the whole cinema is in a giant elevator going downwards, deeper down. Feel that you are accessing a part of your subconscious mind to a place where only clarity exists, where thinking slows down, but awareness sharpens. And in that space, a mist begins to form. A mist not of fog, but of possibility. You become more aware of the characters on that screen in the cinema. The clothing of the samurai, maybe a simple kimono. Get a sense of how both Neo and Winston are wearing suits, but of different kinds. I get a sense of each of them has a weapon, a sword, a gun, or perhaps the capability of their own mind. I want you to get a sense that the qualities in all three are starting to vibrate and resonate with the equivalent qualities in you. Not to become a samurai and not to escape the matrix and not to clear up the mess that someone else has made, but to activate the cool, calm, decisive, and discerning part within you. I want you to get a sense that there is wisdom to extract from all of these characters. Maybe one of the characters is telling you that there is no confusion when you follow the way. You already know what must be done, so act. That in action you become truth, and in stillness you gather force. then imagine Winston's character staring into the screen, breaking the fourth wall, communicating directly to you, saying the words, "You've got things to do, good. Now you've got priorities. Handle it." Decisive action is emotional freedom, and you'll feel better the second you move. None of these characters would recommend hesitation. In all three cases, hesitation could cost them everything. Action is what makes a decision decisive. To make a decision and not act, some would call it cowardice, and some would call it a mistake, a strategic weakness. And you notice now, you have some of those open loops, things you've been thinking about but not implemented, decisions you've made but not executed, open loops, unfinished business, unspoken decisions. I want you to get a sense that this isn't a problem. This is an opportunity. Musashi didn't become a great samurai without training. Neo needed to fail first before he found that incredible talent within. And Winston learned to be ruthlessly pragmatic from mistakes he saw in the past. I want you to get a sense that these open loops are your boot camp. Your ability to sharpen your sword, to do what needs to be done, so that in future, decisions get made quickly, and you will unleash an incredible urge to take action the moment you make a decision. If the decision involves communicating, you message them or email them straight away. If it means going somewhere, you book or buy the tickets. I want you to get a sense that you will take pride in ruthlessly doing whatever needs to be done quickly. You will look for facial expressions, messages of surprise, words like, "Wow, that was fast. You've done that already. This will feel like sunshine to a wilted flower." You will take pride in your decisiveness and your ability to execute decisions. It becomes the thing you look for most. It gives you a sense of being in control, of engineering your future to give you more of what you want and less of what you don't. By being decisive, it gives you the option without the obligation. Consider two different paths. Path 1. Decisions get made but never executed. Delayed, until your hand is forced. A forced hand is obligation without the option. But path 2, you decide quickly, you execute quickly, but with the option to make a new decision to inverse the first decision if needed. One path you're dithering, and the other you're decisive. And I want you to think of those 3 characters. Would any of them be who they are if they dithered? A moment's hesitation would mean they are no longer who they stand for. I want you to find that part within you that deals with things as they arise, not how they could be. Think back to a moment where you were decisive, a moment of taking each day as it comes, of not overthinking, of simply doing, and scan your body for where you feel that emotion. That cool, calm, stoic feeling of doing whatever is necessary. And notice the presupposition there. You can handle it. When you've been decisive and took actions, it was a vote of confidence in your future self. But the opposite is also true. When you delay, when you fail to do what's necessary, you are saying to yourself subconsciously, you can't handle this. You can't make decisions. You can't implement decisions. The path of dithering and delay is a path of pain and frustration, whereas the path of decisive execution means you get to be the hero in the story of your life. I want you to imagine now stepping into that screen. You're there with the samurai, with Winston and Neo, and I want you to feel that the best of all of their qualities is transferring from them into you. I want you to feel that ability to think fast, to do, to be decisive is now resonating with every cell in your body. And I want you to think of just one thing where you feel like you're in limbo, in no man's land, in the empty void. And when you can think of that, I want you to feel that you're now looking at the same situation with a cool, calm detachment. Notice how quickly you can evaluate how much you value, what you stand to gain, what the expected consequences could be, and then be decisive. And maybe your definition of being decisive is not making the decision. It's the time between making the decision and implementing the decision. From this point forward, you will define a decision as the action, not the intention. And therefore, if you haven't done what's necessary, you haven't actually decided. And sometimes you will set the intention, and within seconds, you will have already implemented. You will take pride in how quickly, once the decision is made, the doing then solidifies the thought. And think of that thing, that open loop, that unfinished business. Imagine yourself doing whatever is required to close that loop. And that might be saying yes and then doing the thing. It might be saying no and blocking out time to do something else instead. It might be communicating, booking. It might be something you actually physically do. But imagine doing that now. And I want you to get a sense that socially and financially, by being discerning and decisive, it stands to reason that you can't please all of the people all of the time. You simply can't say yes to everything. And those people that acknowledge that you are a busy person with many different responsibilities will accept and respect that. And the people that don't, that have bruised egos, that take things personally, from this point forwards, you will feel that if they take it that way, then they don't belong in your circle. You will be true to you, and the people that resonate with that will gravitate toward you, and the people that don't will be repelled. But you are repelling the very people or situations that would occupy your thoughts and emotions. And I want you to get a sense that they are too valuable to be wasted in that way. But before you leave this screen, imagine Neo is giving you a gift. A gift that was given to him. 2 pills, a red pill and a blue pill. These pills represent 2 different futures. One of the pills represents the status quo. Things continuing exactly as they are. You know what that's like. And it's a choice you can take. Because Neo explains that anything you are not changing, you are choosing. The absence of doing anything different means you are choosing to remain the same. Or you can take the other pill. And that would be understanding that you are entering a future of decisive discernment. You love making decisions, knowing that a true decision is only true when it's acted upon. You will take pride in being discerning, giving real thought to making decisions, but you will consider yourself a doer, a walker and not a talker, someone that does what is necessary. Look at the color of these 2 pills, and then take them from Neo's hand. And as you swallow them, know which color you're swallowing and which future you are choosing. And when you feel you've chosen that future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And you can test this out by thinking of something on your radar that needs a decision making. needs something doing. And if you think about it in a way where you feel that you can just do that thing, then indeed, that is evidence of the change. Imagine saying goodbye to these three characters. Just like a candle can light another candle without diminishing its light, you have the qualities now of all three of these, and they still retain their qualities themselves. Feel how good it feels to be thinking in this way, and then you leave the screen, find yourself there back in the cinema, but feeling like a shift has taken place. A sense of feeling galvanized, empowered, and looking forward to being this decisive, discerning doer that you now are. It's time to leave this cinema in your mind, taking all of these changes with you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, decisive, and eager to spring into action, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.